Welcome to Shooting the Shit with Rhonda and T. Tonight we are reviewing Love and Marriage Huntsville Season 6, Episode 15. But before we start, D is mad because I just told him to stop. So
he was just here. What did you do?
Because I didn't say you couldn't be on the camera. I said quit pushing the button. Are you coming to work?
No.
Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe.
You can do it. I never said that.
Well, who can do it?
Rhonda.
Smash that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. Stop pissing him off.
And subscribe to our channel.
Golly.
Anyway, speaking of yelling, Stormy's telling Tisha that Marcel came over there asking her for $100 for her booth. And she's upset because she said, look, she got a lot of stuff going on with her business, but she still came there to do stuff for them that they claim is for the community. And that y'all said, that's what y'all said, okay? And she told him, look, don't play with me like that because you don't want to see Courtney, and that's for real. And I don't think he want to see it.
Look, I feel like it's so funny because I always be Team Stormy when nobody else is.
I'm Team Stormy.
I'm sorry, but you don't want to see Courtney because you shouldn't have walked your ass over there.
D.
It seems so ridiculous to burn a bridge with a connection that's a multimillionaire that has a business over something so silly.
$100.
Like, it's definitely not worth losing that connection over.
She told him it was unprofessional to not tell people that money was involved, and Tisha in the background talking about not unprofessional. You knew it was unprofessional because you didn't want to go over there yourself and did it, and you let Marcel go over there. Now it's not unprofessional. You knew it was.
She should have told him, don't do that.
Right.
I'll talk to her later.
Well, she said next time don't ask. She said next time don't ask her for shit. Okay. Normally, you know what I'm saying? There's like usually a deadline that you register and money is usually due upon registration. Ain't that kind of how that works?
Yeah.
And then
everything.
That's how you know who your vendors is gonna be. And then you like send all your vendors, now that you know who they are going to be, a list of information saying, hey, this is where you're going to be located. This is how much room you have, and these are the rules.
I was going to say, chances are the vendors like should have been at the walkthrough, or at least had an opportunity to see the venue. I don't know, child. This is Tisha's event. This is Tisha's event at the Black Expo.
So, and then I heard Stormy was running around helping other people with their booths. You know what I'm saying? Like, not just hers, other people. You know, and here's my thing. Because I'm just not gonna put this on Tisha and Marcel either. What was the other three doing?
Kimmy, and because they wasn't, you were saying, and well,
you should have left the shit, the fucking Black Expo, because I'm just saying y'all wanted to be a part of it. So what was we talking about at these meetings instead of just sitting back fussing about the name? Because y'all clearly didn't go over no business.
How many meetings did we attend? 2 or 3?
We was talking about the damn name. Y'all never got down to the logistics of the event. No speakers.
Well,
no.
What's her name? Child. Melanie did ask them about sponsorship, and they, didn't want to acknowledge any of that. Tisha was trying to be in charge and shut her down, and I guess Mel was like, I'm not finna say nothing else.
And the rest of y'all are dummies too, because nobody even y'all. This wasn't a conversation. None of this information.
I halfway feel like Kimmy, because Kimmy don't like that girl. She's just, you know what I mean? Tisha. I feel like Kimmy was halfway like, I'm going to just sit back and let them do it and see.
You don't want your name on it then, Kimmy.
I would not want to be a part. I don't want to be a part.
You should have just let it stay what it was. I don't understand the big argument then. Y'all should have left it. Child. So child, Martell ain't had no wine, he ain't had no suit collection, cause he probably didn't have $100 to do a booth. I'm just saying.
He damn sure ain't got no wine.
He said he already did 2 wine release parties, so he wanted to give somebody else a chance. And Maurice
That was not for the community.
no. And Maurice was talking about, you could tell that Mel was the marketing genius. I was like,
We been
we all
knew.
know that. Maurice, what kind of booth did you have?
He had a Credit One booth because I was going
A
in on Maurice.
scamming booth?
Yeah. He had a scamming booth over there. Honey, if you need Credit One, then you don't need to be worried about your business just yet. You got to baby step it. Kimmy,
what was Kimmy booth?
I don't know. Was it a Credit One booth? I don't know.
I don't know, but she said her booth was all the way back in the corner.
But what was it?
I don't know. Hopefully medical. I don't know. Yeah. Interesting.
Y'all was mad at Stormy for having an actual booth.
So Martell asked the Whitlows if they were speaking today. And I was like, that's another thing. You a member of the comeback group, y'all ain't know who was speaking? Y'all was just, I'm just trying to see what was we at these meetings, you know?
Why? I feel like I know why. But since I get why y'all are not asking Tiffany necessarily, because we don't know if Tiffany's gonna pop. But isn't like the whole baseball thing, like isn't that very community involved? Why didn't y'all ask Lewis to be involved? Because y'all mad at him still?
So this what I got down here. Okay. Because you know, we got the whole Marcel to my, you know, her being bedridden and you know, then he gonna throw some shade. I don't know what she would have spoke about anyway. And then Tisha, you'll see through that at the end. But this is what I felt. I feel like they purposely left them out because one or two things. They want to stand out. We are the core.
Yeah, okay.
People, you know what I'm saying? We start this group type attitude. The other thing is, hold on, what did I say? Oh, no. I was just saying that that's another reason why, because this little core group, we're the core. That's another reason why he came at Stormy the way he did, and he ain't expect the other ones to do it because we're the top people, and you and Tiffany and y'all is down there. You know what I'm saying?
But they're not.
Clearly they not.
Because at least okay, but they're on the cast. Like at least the cast members should have been included on the thing. Like that doesn't even make sense. Even what's the name? Marlo then was down to Alabama because
did Wanda pay for her booth?
Did she have a booth?
I
guess.
Madonna, did she pay for her booth
too?
Destiny, I'm like, did Madonna pay for their booth? Her and Wanda. Sure.
It was almost like he just made that up at the last minute.
Everything seems very last minute. I'm like, I don't understand why we was having all these meetings if we never got down to the business.
Because so Tisha was leading the meetings.
But nobody said, hey, what about? Nobody,
no. They was trying to distance themselves. That's what I said. I feel like Kimmy and Maurice knew that shit was gonna be raggedy because they know Tisha don't know what she's doing, and so they just let it fly.
But then it would have fly under Black's name.
I mean, it did. So, this was the Black Expo.
Right. Don't call it a comeback.
It ain't.
What?
Y'all ain't come back and do shit.
Mel and her brother, they arrived to the event. Mel is walking around looking at the booths. And then Martell runs into Mark, her brother, and asks him, And the brother asked Martell if they were getting along any better. And Martell gonna say, we're moving in the right direction, but she has her guard up, and he hoped she can put her guard down without the courts forcing her and with Mark's support. And Mark was like, what support? And he was
Mark
like,
was trying to support, wasn't he? But you ain't want him to be over there babysitting your kids.
that's what he said.
I can't imagine a bigger support system than having somebody I trust like family helping out with the children. But you know.
Well, he was like, continue supporting your sister and helping out with the kids. Mark just looked at him. Martell was like, oh, okay, enjoy the show. And he walked away. Like, he is so immature. I hate him. He threw a whole hissy fit.
In his tight pink suit.
Yeah.
But he didn't bring no racks. Him and Sheree are made for each other. Good grief.
So Marceau didn't see Mel, and he asked her, is she thinking about going up and going on stage? And she's like, no, I'm just here to support, you know. I said, once again, trying to get something for nothing. You just, yeah.
Because I believe that Mel gets a check for that, and her things be $1,200. Like, her speaking engagements be very expensive, but I feel like I got more insight on business in that little snippet she had that one week at the house with Kimmy met over there that I did at the Black Expo.
Mm. So Mel saw Martell's brother, and she seemed very happy to see him. She even teared up because, you know, he's been gone for a while. So I wonder how long, did he say how long he was locked up? I forgot. Okay, but he was been gone for a while. And she said it was good to see him there and doing something positive because, you know, of course, he hasn't always done what's right in the past. So she was very happy to see him. Kimmy shows up after radiation. She says she's tired, but she looked really good though. And
Maurice talking about, no, she good. It's the last part, so she could just roll through and keep on going.
And when he said that, I was sitting up here like, now when we asked you that question on the interview the other day, you didn't know what her body felt like, but today she could just roll right through it. It ain't shit.
And since we're having such a successful event, she might as well go home and roll over and suffer through it, since we know that's part of her wifely obligation.
That's what she's required to do. Okay. Stormy got this call from the warehouse. There was a labeling error. She didn't had over 100 that is labeled wrong. And at this point, there was no room for error. So now she really pissed off that she came there. And she's needed there, you know, but Tiffany come over. She fill her in on what's going on at the warehouse. And Tiffany was like, Tisha need to be glad that she's still here, you know. And then she told him that Marceau asked her for $100. And Tiffany was like, first of all, this room wouldn't even be nothing without your setup. Okay.
We already knew. And I feel like that was part of the problem. Y'all was disappointed that her shit was so dope. And y'all over there with some damn balloons and a folding table.
And then she was like, she was just talking to Marceau. Marceau was over there asking people who was speaking. She was like, and she was saying, you know, it's very unorganized. She said she just found out about this week 2 days ago. I was like, so she just found out about it 2 days ago. What kind of marketing did they do? She didn't know about it.
It wasn't on Facebook. I mean, what did they be on? Instagram? They wasn't posting nothing on their social media.
You said she just really found out about it.
I was watching somebody, Kempire. And one of his callers said they was there, and they said that she was raggedy, just like Stormy said it was.
Stormy said, child. Maurice asked Martell if Sheree was coming. He's like, no, she's in California visiting a friend.
Why he make that face though?
Girl, he trying to act like he's being played. The storyline didn't work, so it's time to abort the mission. Abort the mission. It didn't work.
Okay. Where you
That's
going?
his way of getting away from Sheree. That was the end of the story right there.
Yeah,
So
but
the
I need to
show.
talk to you. But go ahead.
So the show is about to
I'll
begin.
talk to you when we get back. Sorry, I'm having a whole conversation. Go ahead.
You're right. The show's about to begin, and Martell spots Mel in the audience, and he asks them, "Is she coming up?" And they like, "No." Remember, she said she didn't want to participate. Well, I don't either. Okay. I said,
What was that?
he's either
He talked to Mark. They be shooting stuff real weird. He already talked to her brother. Did he think she wasn't there, or did that happen afterwards?
I figure he either didn't want her to see him messing up, or he thought that good Mel's here, she'll be my wingman as usual to make him look good.
Why would she ever? Why would she ever?
But we to my Martell head. You know what I'm saying? So he didn't want to go on. Meanwhile, everybody is watching these fools argue behind the backstage because it's just a shade. You know what I'm saying? I was
Why
like,
would they be standing in front of the daggone screen arguing like that?
I'm like, ghetto. Ghetto.
Everybody in the audience like,
Right. So what they end up doing is Martell as the mic holder, so he didn't have to answer no questions. That's what they end up doing with him. Okay. People asked them a series of questions. Everyone spoke. Someone asked about writing funds outside of grants. Marceau didn't know how to answer the question. Tiffany was like, I know all about venture capital, but you know, y'all niggas ain't asked me, so that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? Maurice talked about having a 409 credit score and how he learned to scam the system and how he could do the same for you. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, Marceau and Maurice both do a whole lot of talking and say a whole lot of nothing.
We're not gonna act like Martell's credit score was garbage, and when he came back, his credit score was sky high after being over there. And we all know it don't work that fast.
There's only one way to clean up your credit.
He ain't do that.
Well,
but y'all keep go over there to Credit One with Maurice.
Maurice couldn't change my tires. I don't trust him.
Every time I watched like American Gangster Women Edition, because it was mostly the women. Well, exactly.
Yeah.
It was mostly the women doing them kind, but every time they was in there fixing them credit scores and getting them people them houses and them cars, it just always went wrong. And that's what I get from Maurice. And it's gonna come out. Mark my words. Credit One ass gonna get busted.
How does he not like? And then I go back to Marceau. When this shit first started, you had to go to Martell and Mel to get the business in order. And now we know it was definitely not Martell. So you had to get Martell to convince Mel to help you. That's why she was like, I'm not comeback group no more. I'm not. Y'all over here trying to play me. This nigga having an affair. Everybody knew about it. Now you want me to help? Not doing it.
And at the end of it, they took a picture because that's what the
Where was what's his name? Chris Fletcher. I feel like he can answer some questions. Y'all didn't ask him to be on the panel? No, he gonna do things for free?
Nah. Speaking of Chris Child, so this is what the word is, right? So what they said was, remember I was saying that Chris was messing around with a young girl and all of that? Remember that? So they say Neil was the young girl he was messing around with on his wife.
Who? Oh, he was married before.
Was the young girl he was messing around with on his wife prior to Neil.
Prior to. Well, then how old is she?
Girls, I'm trying to figure it out. Cause you know, sometimes she look young, sometimes she don't. But that's what they said. Child. Okay, so anyway, Stormy at home at this point. She's talking to Courtney. Courtney is resting, child, because he had to drive 15 hours to get that order
Pause
to New York.
before you get there.
Uh-huh.
So the girl that stood up and asked a question, and Tisha was like, "You just gotta
The girl was the girl that was at the tea party thing.
the girl that
Yeah.
started the whole thing about the
Uh-huh. That was her.
that was her. I was looking at it, I was like, is that her? So was Martell sitting there about to have a heart failure? Because I feel like he had his forehead in his hand while she was talking.
Child. I don't know. Well, you know. Supposedly she was messing around with Marcel.
Y'all's messy over there down to the Huntsville.
They is. They is. Stay out of the Huntsville, okay? So Stormy at home talking to Courtney because he's back. He did that 15-hour drive to New York, but they made their delivery, so that was good despite the mishap that they had. He was hauling ass. Okay. How far is it from Huntsville to New York? Oh, he said 15-hour drive. So yeah.
15 hours, yeah. Because it took me 17 to get there.
Yeah, he was hauling ass. So she told him about Marcel asking for the money. And then he was like, and with all this space you done took, I could ask for more. You just had a smart ass mouth, huh? And you said it. And he would have tried, if he could have, he would have asked for more. If he would have thought she was gonna roll with it.
And he would have said absolutely nothing if Courtney was standing there, because Courtney ain't Lou.
Courtney was like, was he for real? She was like, yeah, you gonna talk to him about it? So I was like, that's it right there. That's it. So then Courtney wanted to talk to her about the real reason why he didn't want to have any more kids. And he said, because, I mean, it was a lot going on in that delivery room. He was traumatized. The doctor was scooping blood out by the bucket.
I told you that's what it was. Because when I see Adam, if you bring up Trisha's husband, if you bring that up, he'd be having that same look Courtney have on his face. It's like they relived that moment.
Hold on. Somebody at my door. Right, go ahead. You was talking.
I was talking.
Yeah.
What was I talking about?
Talking about the traumatic.
No, I'm just saying he had that same look in his face, that in his eye that Courtney had. And
you saw it.
You know, at that point they already had a child. So that's Courtney was probably thinking, you go through that again and I'm gonna be here left with these two children. So I'm glad they came to some resolve with that, because they're such a cute little family, you know.
Well,
hopefully they'll throw it.
And he agreed to look into a surrogate. So it's cute. It's cute. I'm glad. She was sad and happy at the same time, you know. Her mama tried to tell her.
Because she was going through it. And I'm telling you, Trisha had the same attitude. Like she was going through it. And so she wasn't as traumatized. But this dude, her husband, was like,
yeah. I can imagine. I don't want to imagine.
And I could tell you, like, the look he has in his eye when he sees his daughter is like, you know.
Yeah.
It's so special.
So Tiffany invited Tisha, Stormy, and Kimmy for dinner to discuss basically about being excluded from the expo. Okay. So she said Tisha contacted her the day before, though, asking her for sponsorship the day before. Now, I know we had, didn't you say we talked about the sponsorship? Now, you waited till the day before? Once again, you can't come, but I want your money.
Because y'all was trying to find folks to finance that shit.
Child. She was like, but I hear it was meetings leading up to before the expo, and I ain't hear nothing. And then I look up Stormy on the stage talking. So, you know, I'm like, Stormy, how you end up there? I ain't heard nothing about it.
For free.
Right. And they probably figured Tiffany was gonna want some money. So we'll ask Stormy.
Right off the bat.
Child. And here go Kimmy. Well, that was an oversight because Tisha said your name from the very beginning. And Tisha, she tried to clean it up, but then Tisha come in like, I was like, I don't know what Tiffany do, honestly.
I felt like, because I say that all the time, what do Tiffany do? I don't know Tiffany. Why don't you know, Tisha? Why you ain't asked that lady?
She said, I knew Lewis was an entrepreneur and you and your business partner started a company, but I don't know what it was. And Stormy was like, well, she just raised $3 million the other day. And she was like, well, that's good to know. Oh,
you think she gonna help you now?
Right. Stormy was like, it took 2 weeks to plan and it wasn't professional at all. She was like, the decor was giving junior prom. Okay.
Now, this irritated me so much. This
part.
Yes. Because the way they were cutting it, it was food, then it was no food. Then it was food, then it was no food. And I was like, why are they doing that? Like, come on, y'all. Like, you can't show me some nachos and then not nachos. And then it's food there and then it's just water there. And it was literally in the middle of a sentence. She would be sitting there with food and then she would come back and not food. And I was like, so what was really being said during this daggone conversation?
Girl. Well, Stormy
go back and watch that last part. You'll be like, what the hell? The hell is happening right now?
She go in about Marcel asking her for money, and she was like, Tisha was like, I talked to Marcel about how I didn't like that, but I also didn't like how you responded. And she was like, you can't tell me how to respond because here
come Betty. You done brought out Betty, y'all.
Yep. And she said, well, I don't know how he came to you, but it was a business setting. I was like, it was not. It was barely nobody in when they had that conversation. It was not during the event. It was during the setup. It was not a business event at that moment. But nobody there.
Nobody was there. And what about when Marcel came in there being disrespectful and talking to people crazy?
Talking to your girl, because he sure came in there snapping.
Where is this? Who paid for that? Balloons?
Well, Stormy let her know you would not on any day tell me how to respond. And Tisha said, I don't know what the fuck your problem is, girl. And I was like, at that point, that's when I was off.
It's on the problem.
Yeah. And she didn't know. She remained calm, or it was because they was cutting them scenes like that. She told her though, she said, you don't tell me how to talk or how to respond. I took away time from my business to add value to what you had going on. And then Kimmy was over there trying to take up for Tisha.
Kimmy, cut it out. That's the same shit you be doing for Maurice. That's that shit right there.
Yeah.
Because what you were saying didn't make sense. That's not true because you were brought up in the beginning. And then what happened? Your point ain't a point.
Thank you. Tisha said, if I had spoke to your husband like that, Stormy cut her off. It's like, and you ain't crazy enough to do that. That's what that is. Now,
when she told that girl to get activated, I was like, whoop.
Yeah, because she talking about the old T-shirt would have jumped across the table, and she invited her too. She was like, well, come on. Get activated. Come with it. And then Tisha had the nerve to sit in the confessional and say, Stormy and Tiffany should be congratulating her on the event. Instead, they were being petty. Y'all didn't do it. We did it. Now, what, Tisha? Okay, well, keep that energy, honey.
She was saying that on her live too, how they were hating.
That wasn't a hate. Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't a hate.
No, I don't. What was they hating on?
This one just did 3 million. This one got $1 million something dollar business, and y'all trying to figure it out while y'all moving in and out of apartments and houses and shit. I don't know. Child, but next season, Kiki stealing from the Home Depot. She just got out the hospital. I seen Kiki when she had stole from Home Depot. Okay, I remember when all of that was going on.
You seen her? You was down to the Home Depot.
I was down there, child. I remember the news report. I had seen it, and the thing is, Kiki ain't saying that wasn't her. First, she came on it. First, now when it happened, at first, Kiki, you was on live saying that wasn't you. And then the crazy fans was like, yes, it was. She had that purse. Look at her key ring. Because in that one scene, that was the key ring. And I was like, y'all just doing who rings? They do. They knew the purse and her keys. They spotted all of that before.
When she said methadone, I was done. I was like, oh, okay.
Well, first she was saying it wasn't her, but now she's saying it was her, but she didn't do it. But they just used her picture, but that wasn't, wasn't the one who did the crime.
Okay, girl.
Then Courtney gonna check the shit out of Marcel.
As he should.
Maurice doubled down on how it's not the cancer or the medicine affecting her not wanting sex. It's a mental thing.
I think that made me madder than anything. Now you want her to go to sex therapy? Let me tell you something. At my big old age, I don't have no time to waste on no ridiculous ass nigga.
Go on about your business, Kim.
Next.
He letting you know if you at your worst, and this how he treats you, it ain't gonna
How much worse can it be? How much worse can it be?
Then you got Mel versus Marcel. She told him ain't nobody crying about him, and Tisha ass won't when she leave you. When she leave your ass, Tisha ass ain't gonna.
Well, Tisha wearing tight ass jeans and belly shirts, so.
And then child Kiki then talked about Marcel's affair. I wonder if it's with old girl, but she then brought out the affair, and then she bust Tisha in the face with some water, child. So D.
Yeah.
Out. She didn't bust him in the face with the water.
I'm gonna come to my cookout and throw water at me, and then the whole Bessemer start fighting because I saw Kiki's husband ready to throw them bows.
I don't think he want to mess with him. I think that's the wrong one. I think he another Courtney.
He might want to take that girdle off if he gonna be boxing down to the cookout.
I said, now this shit been boring this whole damn time, and now. When they finally got some good stuff with Kiki ass acting a fool down at the Home Depot, now we gotta wait. Now y'all done.
I hope the trailer ain't better than the second half of the season. And if there's 15 more episodes, we'd be back at New Year's trying to close this shit out.
Child. Well, that was what is that season? Not even season, halfway season finale.
The season break, season. I don't know what the hell they've been doing, child.
That's what that was. Y'all go ahead, like this video, subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye y'all.